And when I open my inventory, we can see our player character, we can rotate him and zoom in and out. Hey there, I'm your host Zoe, and this is part 7 of our inventory series. In today's video, I'll show you how to create the wardrobe character, so our player character in the inventory screen. So with that said, let's begin. Let's start by going to our content drawer, to our inventory system and our inventory actor. In here, we want to open up the BP_wardrobe actor. So let's go ahead and do that. And we want to do exactly what we did in our third-person character. So let me just show you. You don't have to go in there, but I will. So we have our leader component, which takes care of all the other skeletal meshes. So we have 6. And then we want to go into the construction script and do exactly the same. So let's close this down and add in our first skeletal mesh. And we can call it character mesh. And in here, we'll just add in 6. So make sure every time you select the character mesh as the parent, and we'll just go ahead and add all of them in. So that's 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, so we can go ahead, press F2 to name them. So we have our head, we've got our torso, our hands, we got the legs, we got the melee weapon or melee, whichever way you pronounce that, and we got then the ranged weapon as well. Okay, so let's compile that, and if we go to the viewport, let's just add something in here. So character mesh, we'll go to the skeletal mesh asset and search for head. There we are. Now, oh, there you go. We want to rotate it by 90, so rotation -90. So it's facing forward. And with that, on the animation class, we want to go ahead and add in the third-person_animBP. Now we can see him moving. So if we go to the construction script and do all of that for these components, they're going to move with the leader component. So let's go fill these out first. So head doesn't need anything. Torso does. So torso, torso. I can spell that correctly. We got the hands. We need that. And then the legs. And then again, melee ranged is an accessory. So head would be like an accessory, glasses, hair, mask, whatever. So with that, then we go to the construction script, drag out our character mesh to set leader pose component. This goes in there. And actually the target should be the new leader component. And then every single one of these will be the target. So drag these out one by one. Head, torso, hands, legs, melee weapon, and ranged weapon. Right click, do alignment to left. And then drag these into the new target. Just like so. And if we go back, this updates in real time, so let's compile and save. And there we go. We have that done then. Next, we want to go ahead and create a UI to display the character that we want to place. So for that, we'll go to our content drawer. Let's go to our inventory system, UI. And in here, let's right click, go to user interface, and let's create a new widget. And let's call it WB_wardrobe UI. And let's open that up. In here then, we won't be using a canvas panel because we'll be adding it to our player display. So let's start with a border. Now with this border, I want the opacity, the brush color to be set to 0. So let's go ahead and do that. Next on the list, I want to grab an overlay. And this overlay will hold everything inside. So for the padding, let's do 0. We don't need any padding added. And we'll grab a scale box. So what the scale box does, it allows us to scale an image to the proportions that we kind of want. So if we go to horizontal alignment and fill this, and then on the stretch, we go to scale to fill. Now this is both on the stretch directions. So that's good there. Let's also go ahead and then add in the image. So I am image. And in here on the brush, we want to set this to our render tagged material that's going to render our character. So I named it RTM_inventory_actor. So we'll leave it at that. And let's then compile and save that. Next, let's go ahead and open up our player display. So we can close this down. We don't need it anymore. And if we go to our player display, we want to add in our render, our wardrobe UI to this side. So let's click on the box left. And if we search in here, wb_wardrobe UI, it shows up. We can just drag it in here or in here, whichever you prefer. And let's do fill. Now you don't see anything in here because we haven't tested it just yet. So we'll see that in a moment, but let's compile and save that. Next, we'll go ahead and set up the controls for rotating our character in the inventory screen. So for that, we can close this down and let's head to our inventory actor. So where is that inventory actor? bp_inventory actor. So in here, we can close all of these functions down, and on the event graph, let's grab a left mouse button. And we want to create a new variable called should rotate. Now, if should rotate is true, so we'll do set. So whenever we press the left mouse, this gets set to true. And then whenever we let go, this gets set to false. Next, we'll go and set up the right mouse. So right mouse button. And in here, we'll grab our scene capture component 2D. And we want to set relative location and rotation. And this goes unpressed. So for the new location, now this is exactly as you have it in here. So let me zoom out. You can copy these. If you click on the spring arm, I would say, this you want to be your spring arm, not your wardrobe scene capture component. So in here, the rotation will be whatever you have set it here. So we can copy those. So 120 minus 180 and 5. 120 minus 180 and 5 on here on the Y. So that's looking nice. And after that, we want to set the wardrobe arm length. So set target arm length again to whatever it's saved at. So we have this at 160. So let's do 160. Oh, I did 150. And again, there we are. Plug it in and we're golden. Next, we'll go ahead and do the mouse wheel up and down. So let's right click and do mouse wheel up. And we can search for mouse wheel down. All right. In here again, we want our spring arm. And we'll do get target arm length because we'll be changing it. So we want to get it first to know what the value is originally. And we'll do minus whatever amount you want in here. Set it for yourself. I find it quite good to work with 20. So I'll stick with 20. Next for the clamp. So the clamp allows us to set a max and a minimum value so it doesn't go past that range. So for the minimum, we can set it to 100 and for the maximum 180. Now I've played around with these values, so I kind of know what they look good as. So just play around with this if you don't like them. And at the very end, we'll take this again and do this time instead of a get, we'll do set target arm length. Plug that in, pressed goes in, and that's one part done. So this is for mouse wheel up. And for mouse wheel down, we copy the exact same thing. And instead of plus, we'll just set this to a minus. So select everything, press Q to even it out. And minus goes into plus instead. So we'll do 20. And this goes to the value there. Okay. And lastly, we want to go ahead and search for a mouse X event. Now this event will allow us to rotate our character horizontally. So for that, let's grab our should rotate. We'll do a get. So we'll check, can we or can we not? And if we can, well then we'll go ahead and grab our spring arm again and do get world rotation. And out the back, we'll do combine rotators. We can split B and this value will come from the axis value. Now we want to multiply it by a negative value to increase the speed that we can move at. So we'll do something like -4. Works quite well for me. And we'll plug this into Z. So that part is done. And out the back, again, we'll grab our spring arm and we just want to then set the world rotation like so. This goes in there, true goes in here. And that's pretty much it. So let's compile and save that. To keep everything organized, we could also go ahead and comment these. So we have our horizontal rotation. We can bubble that, show bubble when zoomed. So we get this kind of effect. This is our zoom in and out. So zoom in and out. Again, bubble it. Here we have our reset. So our right button will reset this to the origin. So reset button, bubble it, and that's our allows rotation button. And that's pretty much it. So again, compile and save. Now let's go ahead and test this. So we can close this down and hit play. And when we do, let's press I or tab to open our inventory. And we can see our player character on the screen. We can rotate it horizontally. We can even zoom in and out. So that's looking pretty nice. So this is it for the video. In the next episode, we'll be creating the item tool. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, leave a like. And as always, happy developing.